And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is June 24th, 2026. You know why June 24th is important to me? Because it's not my mom's birthday. It's actually June 27th. But in one of my... It's not a password, but when I call a certain company, they ask me for my mom's birthday. Somehow they ended up with June 24th instead of June 27th, so I just say June 24th. Anyway, my mom would have been 93, June 27th. 93. Lived to 91. Father, almost 94. And I must tell you, the best part with my mom was 3 months before, took her to the Lion King and dinner, but out of nowhere had some sort of, I don't know if it was a stroke, whatever, and they had to do a little surgery, and coming out of the surgery just was not good, and pretty quickly. Anyway, didn't mean to be morbid at the beginning, but I just noticed the June 24th thing. We're going to take a serious tone, at least for the first part of today's show, in defense of your capital. Because we know what's out there. We know it's being said. And we know by who. And just like last September, when we warned you about all the no-sales companies in nuclear, quantum, rare earth, and drones, be careful. Maybe they keep going up, maybe they don't. But when the music stops and they're no longer bullish, they usually all go back to where they came from. And we had no idea that they would top them out within a month and crash them. That's what we're talking about. Oh, by the way, this is serious talk on everything that affects you, the markets, the economy, your job, your industry. If you do not get this show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com, also on our X feed. If you don't follow us on X, you should. And if you like to email us, you just got to be nice. That's all. I have a couple of turds that were very mean to me on X, so I blocked them. I don't like blocking people, but weird is weird, kids, especially when they don't show their face and they think that you're going to keep debating them. Okay, listen. Bitcoin price, 59,695 as I speak. It is down more than 50% from the high. I think Ethereum is down like 65 or 70, and a bunch of other coins are down 90, and they don't even mention those, and there's so many coins that are at zero. As we have stated for a very long time, whether it went up or down, we would say the same thing. There's no earnings, no sales, no product, no services. But technically, and we would tell you whether it was in an uptrend or in a downtrend, the crypto. And of course, on November 4th, we just told you that it broke the 50-day moving average. And if it stays below the 50-day, bad. If it can get back above, potentially good. And it just decided to go through a bear market where it's down more than 50% right now. And it's getting crushed. And I must tell you, we have no clue about what it does tomorrow. But boy, oh boy, it's on another ledge at the yearly lows again. But that's not what we really want to talk about. We want to talk about strategy, which used to be called MicroStrategy, and we want to talk about a couple of, let me be nice, people that told you that Bitcoin's going to 1.5 million by 2030. There was another one that's, I don't know, it was in November, that said it was going to be 150,000 by the end of December, and would have had to gone up like 40% or something. And then they changed it to end of January, and now they're not talking about it anymore. So we warned you about MicroStrategy forever. And by the way, it's gone from $457 since last July to $94. And here's what pisses us off and has us saying to you, hey peeps, we really hope you listened. They paraded this guy out there as a genius. And all he did was take a company, take all the money and buy up Bitcoin, and then leverage it. That's it. That's all he did. Genius, huh? Something that has no earnings, no sales, no product, or no services. And he said he'd never sell any. And he had to last month. And we're just wondering some things now because he's leveraged. You know what that means, right? You know, back in 2008, the schmucks on Wall Street leveraged mortgage-backed securities, some up to, I was told, 30 to 1. How is that possible? If something drops 3.5%, you're out of money. Oh, that's right. Ben Bernanke, the great, the wonderful, magnificent, who they said was a hero. Housing never goes down, he said. Another schmuck. So he's leveraged on one asset, and it's going down. At what point is the forced going to come? I'm wondering. So we're just mentioning this because I know about, hey, this is going up, that's going up, this is going up, that's going up. And by the way, housing stocks are going up today very nicely because interest rates are going down and oil prices are plunging, which is great news. But we want to talk about today the other side. Because still the number one question I get is about crypto and Bitcoin, which tells me a lot of people are still neck deep in this crap and want to believe it has to go up. And by the way, we're not saying it's not going back up. We're just saying it's in a bear market and it's on another ledge right now. And I got to tell you, better not break it. And then there's the forced part. And of course, they had you touted on Coinbase because of crypto. That's gone from 444 to 150. We know about Ethereum. By the way, here's an ETF for Ethereum that's gone, ready? 40 down to 12 and 3/4 in 10 months, Ethereum. They touted us on Ethereum as this blockchain so-and-so. How much is that down? That's 68%. My abacus, rusty as it may be. So we're just starting out with this. Watch your butts. And as I stated on this show, I am amazed. I watched the guy on TV from MicroStrategy a few weeks ago. No big deal. It's down 70%, but yeah, we're good. And he had the grapefruits to say, yeah, we're not worried if it drops 90%. He may have said 95%. We hope you listened. Because on November 4th, we told you it had topped and broke the 50-day. And let's see what's happens from there. And all we have been doing is telling you, so since November 4th, bear market, it had one instant back in April, it broke above the 50-day, and we told you that. And then what happened was, after for a few weeks was drifting higher, around May 18th gap down, that was party. And that's the story. So we start with the crypto. We're not even close to done on protecting capital when there are people out there that are yelping and yapping and yapping and yelping. Next. Well, I think we've done enough SpaceX, right? It still has a $2 trillion market cap with 18 billion in revenues. Still. Up next. But there's another. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So as you know, since day one of SpaceX going public, we have said to you the same words. We have absolutely no edge as of right now on SpaceX stock because it hasn't traded long enough. It hasn't traced out any pattern yet, but they rallied it up to 225. Right now, as I speak, it's 155. So $70 if you bought the high, 30 some odd percent. Hopefully you did not. And at 225, we would have had no idea it was going to go down to 155 or go up to 300. Again, no edge either way. But the edge we do have is when we tell you, hey, if you're going to buy it at 225, you know you're buying a company with 18 billion in revenues that has the same market cap of Amazon that has 750 billion in revenues. Does that bother you at all? So right now, SpaceX coming into today, it was down to 2 trillion market cap, down from whatever it was up at 225. And this is not a commentary at all on what they do going forward. We think Starlink is going to do great. We think probably SpaceX is going to do great, and XAI, whatever else they do. But if I handed you a dollar bill, if you handed me a $10 bill, would you be happy if I handed you back a dollar? That's how I look at these things. But that's SpaceX, and we'll see how it plays out. Again, it's under some pressure. There's talk now that there's going to be unlocking shares, and that may not be good, but it's going to be added to the NASDAQ 100, and that'll be good. Who the hell knows? We'll just keep watching the stock, see if it sets up to where we say, hey, just letting you know, it has a high of the last 2 weeks of 156 and hasn't been able to get above it, but it's holding support at 148. And if it breaks above 156, that'll be a little technical breakout to the upside. And let's see if that happens. I can't do that as of yet. Why? Because it hasn't traded long enough. Got it? Cerebras. Company called Cerebras Systems, and nothing I say to you is about the company or its employees or what they do. I will tell you it comes under the heading of a semiconductor fabless company. And it says it develops AI inference and training platforms. Everything does AI now. Okay, fine, dandy, wonderful, beautiful. Dig it. What have we warned you in the last pretty much 2 years now about the initial public offerings? Wall Street has screwed you. They keep coming out with initial public offerings at asinine valuations. We have gone over dozens of initial public offerings that they came out with and hyped and touted you on. Whether it was, let's see, let me think of a couple here. Chime Financial. They brought that out. It was $45. It's now $17. Never seen the light of day. Everybody who's ever invested in it has lost money. How about, what's that, Fermi? That came out at 30. It's 8. And at $8, it's got a $5.5 billion market cap. They just had sales for the first time. What? Are you kidding me? No, not. Which takes us back to Cerebras. Because you would actually think that Wall Street would care about you and say to themselves, we've been bringing out all these initial public offerings and everybody who's bought in the aftermarket has been screwed. Let's do something better. And of course, with SpaceX, they gave it out at whatever, but there's also that other side that if somebody's willing to pay it, why don't they put it out there? Well, Cerebras comes out, and again, nothing about their future or their employees or what they do. But they brought it out, and let me just state for the record, before today, had a $50 billion market cap. And basically all that is shares times price. The problem is, before today, they have about $700 million in sales with a $50 billion market cap. Those numbers are high, extremely high. Gives you some risk. The problem is, it was a $185 initial public offering. By the way, just in May, 185. They opened it at 385 in May. And to show you how stupid they are, it closed the same day at 310. So if you bought the high on that day of the IPO, at 385, and held it, you were down $75 the same day. What is that, 19%? The same day. But getting back to the valuations, it's down $45 today to 182. It is broken below the IPO price, and recently it hit a low of 196, bounced up to 250, and it broke that. Everybody that has invested in this stock has now lost money. Oh, they reported another loss. And it still has a gargantuan market cap even with today. Let's see, it would still be about $40 billion. Thus, we say to you, get out the abacus and pay a little attention. There's a lot of money being lost. Up next, we're not done. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Okay. So we did Cerebras, if you don't mind, with another asinine market cap. Crazy. And they lose money. Next, the President of the United States. So, in case you don't know, we believe people in his purview have cheated. You got that? There is no doubt in anybody's mind that before major announcements, people have traded off of the president. We've seen it on days where he fired shots and people went short the market and long oil, and vice versa. More than once. We have found out the president has traded oodles and oodles of stocks, though we're told it's somebody else. Somehow, well, let's just say he's bought stocks and then promoted the companies. So we're not really thrilled with him on that at all. Let me read to you something that came out today on Uber. Uber is up because Nancy Pelosi disclosed a new buy on Uber. Nancy Pelosi is known as the greatest fund manager in history for making tens of millions of dollars on her trading throughout the years. Leave no doubt she's a crook. And I say it to her face. And by the way, she would not sue me because in court she would have to disclose the committee she is on and all that crap. And then her trades to show that she knew what the hell was going on. So we're not so worried. That was out there. To tell you how crazy things are in my world, Wendy's stock has been killed. And there's been talk about people coming in and buying into Wendy's stock and the company and trying to turn it around. The news today, and I'm not making this up, the news today on Wendy's stock is up because it is receiving interest from meme traders on Reddit's Wall Street Bets. Welcome to my world. It's crazy out there. But back to the president. We have warned you. And by the way, this is not a rip on him. We're not going to question his motives. Anything like that. No, we're not. But he keeps announcing executive orders. We're going to do this and that with quantum computers. That's the latest one this week. And all I'm seeing all everywhere, you got to buy quantum stocks. And we've been telling you, be careful about these companies. A bunch of them have no sales. And recently it was drones. And we've been saying to you, be careful. A lot of them have no sales. And then it was, remember the rare earth? He even mentioned a couple of names, but I come on the show and said, wait a minute. Does this president know what he's doing? And are his advisors talking to him? Because he's mentioning companies with no sales. Just so you know, every one of these companies have crashed. And this week, I think the market learned a lesson. Let me explain why. He put out an executive order on quantum stocks, quantum business. And you know what just happened? And the stocks got hit. And got hit hard. So we're just letting you know. And again, not a rip on him, but we're trying to help you out on just protecting yourselves. And I'm just looking today at a bunch of quantum speculatives that have been hit hard today and yesterday. So be careful. And of course, you got the Trump family that was so hyped. Trump Media and Technology Group has gone from $160 down to $7. You would think the president's stock would be killing it. How about the ones his sons have got into? JFB Construction, 18 down to 480. And something ABTC is the symbol. American Bitcoin. Smoked. I think they got in, they took $14 to 74 cents. And again, we're not ripping on them. We're making sure you be careful about hype. and touts and shouts. Because, oh my goodness gracious, there have been truckloads of money lost. Truckloads in these things I'm mentioning to you. Starting with the MicroStrategy and the crypto and all that crap. This MicroStrategy guy, for the life of me, how anybody could just logically think this ends well. No sales, no earnings, no product, no services. And I said to you, there was this fundamental guy on TV who was actually asked the smart question. What are the fundamentals behind Bitcoin? All he could say was, well, it's limited amounts. What? So that is my dissertation on, be careful. Micron, after the close, blew away Wall Street estimates, is up $100 in the aftermarket. I do believe it just dropped $200 in the last 2 days, but finished up down $160 over the last 2 days. It was down 210, but it bounced today, $50 off the lows. It's up another 98 in the aftermarket. And you had a tough NASDAQ day today. In the aftermarket, NASDAQ is strong. The Qs are up $8.40, over a percent and change. And it was a very weak day in NASDAQ world. This will definitively help. And I'm noticing the SOXX, which closed at 601.50, is 618.50. So that's up like almost 3%. Of course, that can change. They just announced a few minutes ago, but that's the story. These areas were under pressure and very good close. How's that? Micron. I will tell you also, there's other things going on in the market. A lot of jello moving on the plate. You know what was great news today? Oil prices just tanking. Excellent. We knew that would happen. They told us it would happen. That's a gimme. You open up the strait, the speculators, investors, and traders stop buying. They start selling and shorting. And that's what's going on. So great. The president was complaining about gas prices today and get the Justice Department on the oil companies. Again, everybody's the frickin' enemy and everybody's screwing you, which is not true. Gas prices will be coming down. But also because gas prices are coming down, the 10-year yield dropped almost a stick today. 0.91 to 4.402. That's great news. Do you know why? Mortgages. I'll be buying another house in the next 2 months. Every point down is a good point. But what did that do today? How did it help? We'll have that up next on this, the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Gold and silver had another rough day today. As we said, crypto, a very rough day, but I see it bouncing in the aftermarket because of, Micron. But before I stop talking Micron, we'll see how it finishes the night. It was just up 110, now it's up 75. So we'll see. But I mentioned to you about interest rates plunging today, oil prices plunge. So what's the cause and effect? Airline strong. The symbol JETS, and has nothing to do with that crappy football team, has everything to do with it's an exchange traded fund for airlines, broke out today. Duh. Why would it break out? Price of oil comes down, and boy, oh boy, it's their number one cost. Pure profits. So that's number one. Number two, interest rates really tanked. What do you think went up? Housing stocks. And to be clear, on housing, cause and effect, the 10-year yield hit a high on May 19th. Housing stocks hit a low on May 19th. The 10-year yield started dropping and topped out on May 20th. Housing bottomed and started going higher on May 20th. And since, it's completely followed suit. Today, the 10-year yield hit another relative low since the high. Guess what the housing stocks did today? A new relative high since the low. Absolute cause and effect. Simple as that. Direct. So when the president said, well, once we get past the war and the strait is open, oil prices will come down. Duh! Of course they are. More oil, lower prices. More supply, less of a price. But it's not just that. As I said, commodity prices are based on the buying, selling, shorting, and covering of investors and speculators and traders. And guess what? With the flow of oil back, guess how they're betting? And you had another drop of 3 and change of oil prices. That is great news. Well done. And let's fingers cross. Well, I don't think we need to cross our fingers. I'm pretty sure no matter what, knowing that we're now almost into July and there's an election coming up, that they know that they will get destroyed if oil prices go back up because of him. No doubt. And I'm pretty sure, as bad as Iran is, recognize it's better not to be bombed. Don't you think? So that was a story today. And what else moved today higher? Well, the restaurants. Why? Because lower oil, lower yields, more money in the pocket. Some economically sensitive went up. Retail had a pretty darn good day. Not a lot of bull markets in retail, but much better. What went up in the Dow today? You know what the two strongest stocks were? Home Depot and Sherwin-Williams. Why? Housing related. And by the way, those have been two stocks that have been absolutely bleh. They accounted for I'm about to tell you. 29 times 6.5 equals nearly 200 Dow points, and the Dow is up 182 today. So really the whole Dow. I do need to let you know, Alphabet is being added to the Dow, and they are taking out Verizon. We predicted that. Not Alphabet, but Verizon or Nike has to be taken out of the Dow. Nike should be next, but you know what the problem is? They now have 5 of the 7 Mag 7 in the Dow. The 2 they don't have is Meta and Tesla. I think that's a mistake. I think it's a mistake. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Nvidia, and now Alphabet, which will go in on the 29th of this month. Not to mention You also have Salesforce.com, another tech. Cisco, another tech. IBM, another tech. 8 of the 30, quite techy. 8 of the 30, and quite big techy. We'll see how it plays out. But they needed to do that, and because these very low price names are meaningless to the Dow. And next should be Nike. Because after Nike, which trades at a little less than 42, then you have Coke at 80. Coke's never going out of the Dow. After that, you go to Walmart and Cisco just above 100. And of course, the ones that count the most are Goldman and Caterpillar because of their price. So that's happening next, and it's a good move. Replacing it, I'm not so sure I would have replaced it with Google. Why? 5 out of the 7, Mag 7 in there now. I think that's too much influence. But they don't care what I think. I'm a nobody. The Dow finished up 182, NASDAQ down 110, NASDAQ 100 down 127. Forget about it. Because you're up very nicely in the aftermarket because of Micron. As I said, the semiconductor ETF is up only about 2.5% now in the aftermarket. The Qs are up 1.25%. We'll see how it plays out overnight. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. Hope I'm helping. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Until tomorrow. Peace out all. And good night.